The night was cold and dark. The city was quiet, but some cars still moved slowly on the empty streets. Millionaire Rehan was driving home after a long, tiring day. His mind was busy with business plans and meetings. The bright lights of his big car cut through the darkness as he drove fast toward his mansion. Rehan was a rich man. He had everything money could buy: fancy cars, big houses, and many friends. But deep inside, he felt lonely. His life was full of work, but missing something important. He did not know what. As Rehan passed a small, dark alley, he suddenly heard a soft sound. It was a baby crying. The cry was weak, but filled with sadness and fear. At first, Rehan thought it was just his imagination, but the crying grew louder and more desperate. He slowed down and looked carefully toward the alley. There, near a dirty garbage bin, he saw a small figure moving. Rehan stopped his car completely and got out. The cold wind blew through the empty street, making the night even colder. Rehan walked slowly to the alley. The crying became clearer now. It was a tiny baby, no more than a few months old. The baby was wrapped in an old torn cloth. Its small hands and face were dirty and wet from the cold rain that had just stopped. Rehan's heart beat faster. He had never seen something so sad before. The baby looked scared and alone. It was too young to be left outside in the cold night. Rehan gently picked up the baby. The crying stopped for a moment when the baby felt the warmth of his arms. He looked closer and saw a small note tied to the baby's cloth with a thin, red string. Rehan carefully opened the note. The handwriting was shaky and small. It was hard to read. The letter said, "Please take care of my baby. She is very special. Keep her safe. Don't let anyone find her." Rehan did not understand everything, but he knew the baby needed help. He looked around the empty alley. No one was there. It seemed like the baby had been left alone, abandoned. For a few moments, Rehan just held the baby and looked at her small face. She was crying again, but now it was a soft cry. Rehan's heart filled with sadness and a strange kind of hope. He felt a connection with the baby, something he had never felt before. The night was silent except for the baby's quiet cries. Rehan made a decision. He could not leave the baby alone in the cold. He decided to take her home and care for her himself. He wrapped the baby carefully in his own coat and held her close to protect her from the cold air. As he walked back to his car, he thought about what the note said. Who had left the baby here? Why was she so special? And what danger was waiting for her? Rehan's mind was full of questions, but one thing was clear. He would not let anything bad happen to this little child. As he drove home, the baby finally stopped crying. She fell, asleep in his arms. Rehan looked at her peaceful face and smiled softly. This night had changed his life forever. He was no longer just a rich man. He was now a protector, a guardian for a tiny life in need. Rehan reached his big house, opened the door, and stepped inside carefully. He made a warm bed for the baby and gave her some milk. He stayed awake all night, watching her sleep and thinking about what he would do next. The city outside was still dark and quiet, but inside Rehan's home a new story was beginning, a story of hope, love, and courage. For the first time in a long time, Rehan felt something strong in his heart, a feeling that told him this little baby was meant to change everything. The next morning, sunlight came through the big windows of Rehan's house. The baby was still asleep, wrapped in a soft blanket. Rehan sat nearby, staring at the small note he had found the night before. The words still puzzled him. Who could leave a baby alone in the cold with only a small letter? And why did the letter say the baby was special? Rehan was a careful man. He decided he had to find answers. But first, he needed to take care of the baby. He gave her a gentle name, Amina. Amina was quiet and fragile. Her eyes opened slowly as the warm sun touched her face. Rehan smiled and spoke softly. "Don't worry, Amina. I will keep you safe." Rehan called his trusted assistant, Faiza. She was kind and smart, and he knew she would help him. Faiza arrived quickly. When she saw the baby, she gasped softly. "She is so small and so weak." she said. "We need a doctor right now." Rehan nodded and called a doctor friend, Dr. Kamal. Soon Dr. Kamal arrived with a small bag full of medical tools. He examined Amina carefully. "She is hungry and cold, but nothing is broken or very wrong," Dr. Kamal said with relief. "She needs good food and warm care." Rehan felt thankful. He asked the doctor, "Do you think she was left here on purpose? Or was it an accident?" Dr. Kamal shook his head. "It's hard to say, but whoever left her knew what they were doing. The note was a warning and a plea for help." Rehan looked at the letter again. The handwriting was shaky, almost like a child had written it. The words were simple but strange. "Keep her safe, don't let anyone find her," the note said. Who was anyone? And why did they want her hidden? These questions bothered Rehan all day. He could not eat or focus. On his work, his life, full of numbers and deals, suddenly felt small and empty compared to the mystery of this little girl. In the evening, Rehan decided to call the police. He thought maybe they could find the family or help solve the mystery. But when he told the police about Amina and the note, their faces changed. One officer looked worried and said quietly, "Sir, this might be more dangerous than you think." Rehan asked, "What do you mean?" The officer hesitated, then said, "There are reports of missing children in the city. Some people are involved in bad things, illegal trading, kidnapping. If this baby is connected to any of that, she might be in real danger." Rehan felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The peaceful night and quiet baby were part of a bigger, darker story. He realized that saving Amina was only the beginning. Now, he had to protect her from dangers he never imagined. Back at his house, Rehan sat by Amina's side. She smiled weakly, her tiny fingers curling around his thumb. "Don't worry, Amina," he whispered. "I will find out the truth and I will keep you safe." That night, Rehan could not sleep. His mind was full of thoughts about the baby, the letter, and the unknown dangers waiting in the shadows. He promised himself that he would not let fear stop him. No matter what happened, he would fight to protect this little life that had suddenly become so important. The day had started with a simple cry in the cold night. But now the story was unfolding into a dangerous journey, a journey filled with secrets, courage, and hope. Rehan knew one thing clearly: his life would never be the same again. The next morning, Rehan woke up feeling restless. The silence of his house felt heavy. He looked at baby Amina sleeping peacefully in her crib. Her tiny chest rose and fell with every breath, but Rehan knew the peace would not last long. He was determined to find out where she came from. But how? The letter had no name, no address, only a few words that made his heart ache. Rehan started with the hospital where he took Amina the day before. He asked the nurses and doctors if anyone knew about a missing baby. They shook their heads. No one had come looking for her. Next, Rehan asked his assistant Faiza to search the local police reports for missing children. Faiza worked fast, scrolling through files on her computer. After a while, she found something. "Rehan, listen to this," she said, her voice low and serious. "There's been a rise in child disappearances in the city for the last 6 months. Many of the children come from poor areas, and some cases are still unsolved." Rehan frowned. "Do you think Amina is one of these children?" Faiza nodded slowly. "It's possible, but what worries me more is that some of these cases might be connected to a bigger problem: illegal child trafficking." Rehan felt a cold wave wash over him. He had heard about such crimes before, but never thought they would touch his life so closely. He thought about the letter again, the warning to keep Amina safe, to hide her from anyone. Now, the warning made more sense. Someone must have saved Amina from danger, but they couldn't keep her safe forever. Rehan's mind was racing. He knew he had to act carefully. If the people behind these crimes found Amina, she could be lost forever. He made a quick decision. He would not tell anyone about the baby, except a few trusted friends. He needed to protect her and find the truth quietly. Days passed, and Rehan spent more time with Amina. Despite his busy life, He felt a strange connection with her. The little girl had changed something inside him, made him softer, more human. But shadows followed them everywhere. One afternoon, when Rehan was in his office, Faiza rushed in with bad news. Someone called the house asking strange questions about a baby, she said. They sounded angry and threatening. Rehan's heart pounded. Did you tell them anything? No, I told them no baby lives here. Rehan nodded, trying to stay calm, but he knew this was just the beginning. The people looking for Amina were getting closer. That night, Rehan stayed up late, thinking about what to do next. He needed help, but who could he trust? His phone rang suddenly. It was an unknown number. Hello? Rehan answered carefully. A quiet, trembling voice spoke. Sir, I know where the baby came from, but you must be careful, they are watching. Rehan's breath caught in his throat. Who is this? I can't say now. Just trust me. Meet me at the old park tomorrow night at 9. Then the line went dead. Rehan stared at the phone, heart racing. The mystery was deeper than he thought. Someone was reaching out, maybe to help, or maybe to trap him. He looked at Amina sleeping, quietly. Her life depended on him now. Rehan promised himself one thing. He would face every danger, every secret, to protect her. The next night, he prepared to go to the park. He felt fear, but also hope. Maybe this stranger had the answers he needed. As he stepped out into the dark streets, the city lights flickered like distant stars. Rehan knew this was more than a simple rescue. It was the start of a battle against darkness, for a tiny life that had already touched his heart forever. Rehan arrived at the old park just before 9 p.m. The night was quiet except for the soft rustling of leaves in the cold wind. Shadows stretched long under the street lamps, making the place look mysterious and a little scary. He looked around carefully. The park was almost empty, just a few benches and a broken swing moving slowly. Rehan's heart was pounding. Who would come? Would this person be a friend or an enemy? Suddenly a figure appeared from the darkness. It was a woman dressed in a simple coat. Her face was partly hidden by a scarf, but her eyes looked worried and tired. Are you the one who called? Rehan asked quietly. She nodded. Yes, my name is Sarah. I don't have much time. Please listen carefully. Rehan took a deep breath. I want to help. Tell me everything. Sarah looked around nervously, then whispered, Amina's mother. She was a brave woman. She wanted to protect her baby from terrible people. These people, they kidnap children and sell them. They are powerful and dangerous. Rehan's hands clenched into fists. Where is the mother now? Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She is missing. I don't know if she is alive or dead. But before she disappeared, she left the baby with a note, asking someone to save her. Rehan felt a lump in his throat. Why didn't she come here? Sarah shook her head. She was scared. These people are everywhere. They watched her all the time. She had no safe place. Rehan looked down at the ground, thinking about the danger they were all in. What can we do now? Sarah pulled out a small envelope from her coat pocket. This was hidden inside Amina's blanket. I have more letters like this. They tell stories of other children, other mothers. We need to stop these criminals, but we must be very careful. Rehan took the envelope, feeling the weight of the responsibility on his shoulders. Thank you for trusting me, he said. We will find a way to save these children. Sarah nodded, her voice soft but strong. Be careful, Rehan. They watch everyone closely. Before Rehan could say anything more, Sarah slipped away into the shadows, disappearing like a ghost. Rehan stood alone in the cold night, clutching the envelope tightly. The world felt bigger and scarier now. He knew that saving Amina was just the beginning. There were many others like her and many dangers waiting ahead. But Rehan was ready. For the first time, he felt a new kind of strength, not from money or power, but from hope and love. He looked up at the sky, stars twinkling faintly. Somehow, he knew this long night would end with light. The next morning, Rehan woke up feeling restless. The meeting with Sarah in the park had left a deep impression on him. He couldn't forget the woman's worried eyes or the weight of the envelope in his hand. He sat by the window in his big living room, staring at the city below. People rushed by, busy with their lives, unaware of the secret dangers hiding in their own streets. Rehan opened the envelope carefully. Inside were several letters, folded and old. The handwriting was shaky, as if written by someone who was afraid and tired. He read the first letter slowly. It told the story of a mother who hid her baby to save her from cruel people. The letter begged the reader to protect the child and find a safe home. Tears came to Rehan's eyes. He had never felt this kind of pain before. His life was full of deals, meetings, and money, but now something real and human was calling him. Suddenly his phone rang. It was Sarah. "Rehan, listen." Her voice was urgent. "There's no time to waste. The people who hurt those mothers are closing in. You have to be careful." Rehan nodded, though she could not see him. "What do we do next?" "We need to find the place where they keep the children," Sarah said. "I have a contact who might help, but meeting him is dangerous." Rehan took a deep breath. "I'm ready. Tell me where." Sarah gave him an address, a small warehouse on the edge of the city. "Tonight we meet there. Be careful." All day, Rehan felt nervous and alert. He prepared himself for the meeting. He thought about the baby Amina and the mothers who had suffered. He promised himself he would not fail them. When night fell, Rehan dressed simply and left his mansion. He drove slowly to the warehouse, his heart beating fast. The street was empty and dark. The warehouse looked old and forgotten, with broken windows and heavy metal doors. Rehan waited near the entrance. Minutes felt like hours. Then a man appeared, a tall, thin figure with cautious eyes. "You must be Rehan," the man said quietly. "I'm Imran. I help people who want to stop the traffickers." Rehan nodded. "I want to save the children. Tell me everything." Imran led him inside. The place was cold and smelled like dust. There were boxes and old furniture everywhere. "We don't know where exactly the children are," Imran said, "but we have clues. They move them at night through secret tunnels." Rehan felt a chill run down his spine. The danger was closer than he had imagined. Imran pulled out a small map. "This shows the tunnels. We have to be very careful. If the traffickers find us, it could mean disaster." Rehan studied the map. "We will need help. I can use my resources. But we must act quickly." Imran smiled for the first time. "You are brave. This fight is not easy." Suddenly they heard footsteps outside. Both men froze. "Someone is coming," Imran whispered. Rehan's mind raced. Was it the traffickers? Or someone who could help? The door creaked open slowly. A shadow appeared in the doorway. Rehan's heart stopped. The shadow in the doorway stepped inside slowly. Rehan's eyes adjusted to the dark room, and he saw a woman standing there. She looked tired but strong. Her eyes held a mix of fear and hope. "Who are you?" Imran asked softly. The woman took a deep breath. "My name is Nadia. I was one of the mothers who escaped. I know where they keep the children." Rehan's heart jumped. This was the break they needed. "Why didn't you come earlier?" Rehan asked. Nadia looked down. "I was afraid. They are dangerous people. If they find me, they will kill me." Rehan nodded, understanding her fear. "We will protect you. Tell us everything." Nadia began to speak. She told them about a hidden building outside the city where traffickers keep the children. The place was heavily guarded with cameras and armed men. They bring the children there at night. They want money from rich families who never look for their lost children, she said quietly. Rehan clenched his fists. "We have to stop them. No child should suffer like this." Imran nodded. "We need a plan. Tonight is the best time to act." The three of them talked for hours, planning every detail carefully. Rehan promised to use his wealth to arrange help. They needed strong, trusted people. As they left the warehouse, Nadia looked back, fear in her eyes. "If they find out we are coming, they will come for us all." Rehan put a hand on her shoulder. "You are safe with us. We will fight this together." That night, Rayhan called his trusted security team. He explained everything. They were shocked but ready to help. Rayhan felt a new kind of courage. For the first time, money was not enough. He needed to be brave. Hours passed as they prepared weapons, maps, and cars. The city slept unaware of the rescue mission about to begin. Rayhan looked at the baby Amina sleeping peacefully in her crib. He promised her silently, "I will save you and every child." At midnight, the team moved quietly toward the hidden building. The streets were empty. The air was cold, and tense. Rayhan's heart pounded in his chest. Every step brought them closer to danger. When they reached the building, they saw the guards and cameras just as Nadia described. Imran whispered, "This is it. Stay close and be careful." The team moved like shadows, disabling cameras and taking down guards silently. Inside, the sound of children crying echoed through the dark halls. Rayhan's eyes filled with tears. This was worse than he imagined. They found a locked room. Behind it were children, scared and hungry. Rayhan unlocked the door with a key Imran had found. The children ran to him, their faces lighting up with hope. One little boy reached out to Rayhan. "Thank you, sir." Rayhan hugged the children, feeling their pain and fear. Suddenly, alarms blared. The traffickers had discovered them. "Run!" Imran shouted. The team gathered the children and ran through the tunnels. Rayhan carried baby Amina in his arms. Gunshots fired behind them. The chase was dangerous, but Rayhan's team was strong and fast. They reached the outside where cars waited. Nadia was there, ready to drive them to safety. Rayhan looked back once, his heart heavy. They had won this battle, but the war was not over. The cars sped away from the dark building, the sound of sirens growing louder behind them. Rayhan held baby Amina tightly, her tiny fingers curled around his shirt. The children in the back were quiet now, their tired eyes watching the city lights. Nadia sat beside Rayhan, her face still pale but determined. "We made it," she whispered. Rayhan nodded but didn't relax. "This is just the start. We need to make sure these children are safe, forever." At his mansion, Rayhan arranged for doctors and nurses to care for the children. He watched as they were given food, clean clothes, and warm beds. For many of them, it was the first time they felt safe. Amina smiled weakly at Rayhan. Her small face showed hope, and he felt a deep promise inside, to protect her and all the children from harm. But Rayhan knew the traffickers wouldn't give up easily. The next day, strange calls came to his phone. Threats, warnings. They wanted the children back. Rayhan stayed strong. He hired the best lawyers and security teams. "I will fight them in court and on the streets," he said firmly. "No one will take these children again." Nadia helped Rayhan, sharing stories of the children's past and helping the police find more victims. Slowly, the truth about the trafficking ring came to light. News channels began reporting the story, how a millionaire risked everything to save abandoned children. People were inspired. Donations poured in. More children were rescued. One afternoon, Rayhan took Amina to a park. She laughed for the first time, chasing butterflies with other children. Rayhan watched her, feeling peace in his heart. He thought about his life before, busy meetings, endless money, but no real happiness. Now with Amina and the rescued children, he found a new purpose. Amina's tiny hand in his reminded him why he had stopped that cold night, why he had risked so much. Rayhan stood tall, ready for the long fight ahead, because he knew that love and courage could change the darkest nights into bright new mornings. And this was just the beginning of their new story.